Coming at you with another Ilima brew today, this one featuring Snorlax as well as Greninja. Snorlax is a card that's really pretty powerful alongside Berry, allowing it to attack early, but the other downside that this card has is that its high retreat cost means your opponent typically gets to dictate when they're going to knock it out and bring your next Pokemon up to the front. In enter Ilima, allowing us to stall efficiently with Snorlax, but also bounce it back to our hand in the mid to late game on our terms as opposed to our opponents, assuming they've put any amount of damage on it. The kind of pressure Berry generates where they need to clear your lax before Berry can knock them out, but Ilima can open it up to bring a Greninja or something else up from the back line feels really clean. This deck list has a ton of play to it and so many decisions you make every single turn, from where your Water Shuriken is going to whether your Snorlax is a wall or an attacker. It feels really satisfying to navigate all of the lines really efficiently. If you enjoy off-meta competitive decks being explored like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You shouldn't miss any of the other awesome things I'm playing as I grind my way back up to Masters this season. If you like this build in particular, be sure to smash the like button on this video for the rest of the day. Have fun checking out some Ilima Snorlax action. I think both the packs from this latest expansion are relatively even, and you should favor opening the one that has the EX Pokemon you want to play with. I think Lunala and Decidueye are both very solid out of the Lunala pack, and I think Leo and Incineroar are both very solid out of the Leo pack. And I think the other handful of dorks are varying degrees of playable or not. Can you give a general number on how many viewers does one need to make streaming a job? So that's a really complicated question. So like to give a pointed example, I make approximately 10 USD per hour per about 1,000 viewers in terms of ad revenue. But like, for example, when someone primes or subscribes directly on Twitch or gives a membership on YouTube, part of my quip is, thanks for helping keep me around. And that's just me being genuine and honest, because a majority of my income month to month comes from people giving direct support with subscriptions like that. Like Kirk there, thanks for the entire year of Prime. And that's also in part because subscriptions tend to be a little bit more consistent than viewer count. Like, the viewer count swings are more volatile than subscription swings. Although, like, it's worth noting that, like, since all of the economic uncertainty has happened in the world since the start of April, with our dictator-in-chief doing all of his tariff nonsense, like, my sub count is way down, and I don't think that's a coincidence. We'd consistently been north of 2,200, which is why that had been the goal, and we've been solidly under that since the start of last month. It just kind of is what it is. All right, I think this Snorlax is just taking hits for us while we power up this dork in the back. Signals, thanks for the brand new primer. Appreciate you taking a couple buckaroos from Jeffrey Bezos and sending them my way. I mean, if they don't have another thing, here, they can't kill my lead Snorlax. And if they don't have another thing and don't kill my lead Snorlax, I put an energy on this, and then Berry threatens to clear them next turn. Yeah, seems like we're not. Actually, do I just Lima this turn? I think I just Lima this turn, right? And then the Berry threatens them next turn. We just don't give them the option. Because I can't play two supporters in a turn is the downside to Lima and Berry, but this sets me up. This forces them to have another basic where they die on the spot. I think this is the line. This game got so much more interesting with this expansion. I agree. I think this expansion is something Pokemon Pocket desperately needed. I am enjoying this expansion immensely. I think this expansion is significantly more interesting than the last two that we had. And now, with Double Berry in my hand and the Banu Suite on the bench, I think the line here is we power up this back Snorlax, and then we put pressure on here. And then even if they have Rare Candy into Serena and clear this other Snorlax is ready to clear this arena on the back crack, potentially. I am not playing Giratina, no. We have Kangaskhan as the 5th basic. It's another one that works with Lima. As someone who was very anti-Rare Candy when Pokemon Pocket launched, I think Rare Candy was an absolutely necessary addition to the game after they decided to power creep the level of basic Pokemon like they did so early. After they added Darkrai and Arceus and Giratina to the game, we needed something like Rare Candy in order for Stage 2s to have a remote chance of keeping up. You have to fight power creep with more power creep. Health creep hurt Starmie. I actually disagree with that. I think the thing that really hurt Starmie from being playable is the fact that things like Giratina deal 130 damage a lot more easily than they used to. Starmie basically getting one-shotted in most of your matchups means that its free retreat cost no longer is at a very reasonable upside. Yeah, Arceus also does 130. That was the beginning of the end for that card. They took my berry away. It's very sad. Alright. 1 in 6 to win the game on the spot. Berry? 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 Unlucky. I think I want to play any of these cards out. I think I'm just chilling. Any plans for what the Pocket Snap schedule will be for the next week? It's really just going to be based on viewer counts. Whichever game has stronger viewer counts will end up getting more time on stream. I'm definitely going to be streaming both of them, but how much of one versus the other depends on who wants to watch what. I was very confused why they switched, but they couldn't evolve this one. They could evolve this one. That makes sense. I think I'm going to put Kanga out here because if this dies, I think I want to put Kanga out. How's the meta feel after Rare Candy? Rare Candy is what this game needed in order to let evolution Pokemon have a remote chance of keeping up with basic Pokemon power creep. After Arceus and Giratina and stuff, this game desperately needed an effect like Rare Candy, and I'm glad we have it. Seems good. Thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. I enjoy playing with evolution Pokemon, and I am glad that they've made a card that makes them better. One of these days, our opponent's going to play an absolutely dog trash, terrible red card or Mars, and they're going to get punished for it. It's going to feel good, but today is not one of these days. I just can't fathom looking at an opponent who has a basic for a stage 2 on their bench that just like didn't evolve it and then being like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna redraw this player's hand. That sounds great. All right, and then we'll Rocky Helmet here, so that way if we hit 1 heads, they die to recoil. So what I'm hearing is Gengar is playable now. So, while I think EX Gengar is still likely very bad, Baby Gengar felt really good the other day when we played it. It'll actually be the highlight on the Hooglandia Pocket channel later this afternoon. We played Baby Gengar plus Baby Alakazam. There isn't an EX Alakazam, plus 2 Energy Alakazam. They felt really clean. Okay, so second berry off the top, 1 and 8 wins the game. Rare candy is lovely. And rare candy here actually means that they're dead next turn, right? Because they punch Snorlax, and then we Lima it back to our hand, and then Greninja does another 80 to this Lucario. Ah! Hit me! Whoop! This deck seems sweet. All sorts of the wonderful things that I do. I love the really vibrant, colorful ones, like this one. All right, it's a frog plus a candy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, if they have the supporter, we die in 1. Snorlax! Snorlax! To me! To me, Snorlax! Snorlax, Kangaskhan, please, my baby frog is in danger. He needs an adult. Help! Help! I need an adult! I need an adult! Oh, thank goodness Kangaskhan is here. Thank goodness Kangaskhan is here. She was gonna be mean to me, mommy. Don't let her be mean to me, mommy. A Pikachu EX Enjoyer. Spicy. Yeah, the OG. Piece of candy. Like a fox, maybe? Damn it, mama. I almost put the Rocky Helmet on the Ninja too. Almost. At least we got to evolve before it took a hit. Okay, they're on empty. They're on empty. I think I actually feel okay if they're on empty, Copium. I would like to draw a Snorlax, though. I guess the problem is... I guess the problem is the Pikachu is clearing my Kanga in 1, and I don't have a follow-up at this point. I think we're cooked without another basic here, unfortunately. Which EX do you think is the best from the new set so far? I'd be pretty surprised if Leo isn't competitive. Very strong templating. Alright, if we could find a Lax next turn, we still have a shot. Just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. We're not gonna throw away this shot, hopefully. Need to call an exterminator. Too many rodents on the opponent's side of the board. Hit me, dealer. Not a frog. Not a frog. 66% to be a fat man. Okay. Man, I really needed another Snorlax here. What if I pick this up and then retreat back to it again? Is that the line? God, I really wish I just had something else to put up here, but I think I just lose my energy again here. It's close. Because now what's the play? They hit me, I go energy, kill this with the shuriken. They clear this, I clear whatever they have in the back. I mean, my hand was trash, so thank you. And thank goodness this Mars wasn't a Cyrus or a Sabrina. If that Mars had been a playable card, we would have lost this game instantly. Alright, I need like a baby frog plus a candy. Oh wait, does Snorlax do it? I think Snorlax might do it actually, right? With the berry? Because I get to go water shuriken here. And then they kill me, water shuriken clears, and then berry plus collapse clears their follow-up. They're already through both their potions. I really can't emphasize this enough. I think literally every deck playing Mars would be better if they just cut their Mars and played Sabrina and Cyrus in the slots that they have Mars in at the moment. You knock out Snorlax, you lose the game. Cool. Opponent's deck concept is really interesting. You just, need to cut the Mars for something that's playable. This is a good showcase of our deck, stalling and maneuvering around. Our draw was really clunky. These types of all single knockout point decks like what we're playing are some of the most satisfying and fun to play in Pocket. Appreciate you watching so much and all your support over the last number of years. Get you access to Beverly Shills. Average Skarmory deck is Leo Lion these days. We'll see what they're doing. We've got Candy. We just need a big frog. what I'm talking about. I think we played the other Froakie out, because if we like high roll research into Candy Frog, I want it ready to go. Do you have any opinions on this build versus the Golbat Arceus deck? I like that the Golbat Arceus deck had a really big finisher in Arceus in the back. But Greninja's got some nice flexibility, so I don't know. They both seem like they have different things going for them. I think Rare Candy has been both a good and necessary addition to Pokemon Pocket. I think once they ramped up the power creep of basic Pokemon, like Arceus and Darkrai and Giratina, we needed a similar amount of ramp power creep for our Stage 2s to be competitive. Them jumping Leo to the front of the class here is so bad against our copy of Barry, holy. So they go down to 150, and then we put them down to 30 with these two hits. Oh my goodness, and I have a Rocky helmet as well here. I kind of wish I had that last turn, but yeah, that's what it is. When I put my second energy on the Snorlax, they poop a brick. I'm just like, oh no, oh no. So Leo can't even finish this turn because it will die with its own recoil plus the helmet. So they're gonna need to pivot back to the Skarmory. And that gives me time for Greninja to murder the Leo in the back. They could have a Lily, I suppose. All right, keeps them alive for a minute. Actually, it doesn't even keep them alive, right? Because they take 30 plus 20 from the Shuriken. They need another heal here. So we kind of need two cards to really get anything together, so Professor's Research is our best draw by a lot. Once the Rare Candy comes off the top, that's not bad for the home team. So we get to pick up our 2 knockout points here thanks to the helmet countering their cape. And then if we just hit our 25%er here, they die to Shuriken next turn. But if we don't hit our 25%er and they have Leo, we're going to be up a creek. No Leo, one-time dealer. Put your energy on the Skarmory. Yes! Alright, come on. Big frog, big frog, big frog, big frog. That could be a big frog, gamers. All right, if we hit 25%er, we win the game. If we just don't hit the low roll, we win the game next turn. Nice, cool. Yes. I think I hold on to my hats for now. Or not. They're not hitting me for damage with this ever next turn. We can wait a turn. Hit us the follow-up, but no reason to rush into this, I don't think. Usually these stage 2 decks don't have room for Mars Copium. And honestly, Iono is more likely than Mars, and if they Iono me, I'd rather get a random instead of having a Rocky Helmet in play. Do you think Helmet is better than Poison Barb in most cases? I would expect so. My expectation is that I'd mostly want to play Poison Barb as like a third Rocky Helmet in decks that want that, and I'm not sure there's a ton of decks that want that. I'm sure there'll be some edge cases where that's not always the case, but for the time being, that's how I'm playing it. Have you played Lycanroc Rampardos? For people who are new to this stream, I usually don't play what are going to be widely considered stock good decks. I think there's plenty of content creators who are very good at playing those and tend to showcase them. So most of the time, we'll work on playing off-meta things here on this channel. There were no cards in my opponent's deck for the target of that effect. So their hand is all evolutions right now. Wow. Okay. Wait, if that's the case... Oh, do they just not have another stage 1? They might only be playing one stage 1. I was like, why didn't they put the stage 1 on this one then? They might have only one stage 1 cap. If they go Candy into Beedrill EX, we could be in trouble here. I accept. I guess when I get this one out of my hand. I'm gonna tee up one energy on here just so it's berry ready. We'll put a Rocky head on. And then honestly, I think I put 20 damage into the cat, so that way if they want to switch to the cat and crack this, we threaten to clear it with berry next turn. Okay. Looking for our second Greninja here, ideally. This fishes up our last basic. If they clear Snorlax with Beedrill, they die to berry off the top. So, on board, I think we're in a good spot. However, all right, well, that's an incredible draw. Obviously best draw on our deck, not close. On board, we're in a good spot. However, they could have a giant pile of Ericas and Lilies in their hand here, right? We're 25% to draw. I should have played Kangaskhan out to play around Mars. No reason to hold that. We're 25% to draw a copy of Berry here, which would be great. So they are dead to Berry off the top. We switch around to our other Greninja here. Force them to have a Cyrus to clean this one out. And if they have Cyrus to clear this one, then they're not healing. And they die to this. So feels like we got them in a decent spot here. They're still dead on board through that one, actually. I need a cape too, right? You know, if they have a cape, they're 30% dead to a berry. Ooh, is it a Darkrai Gatekeeper? No colorless lead is a little sad. It's gonna be a Darkrai Gatekeeper. I think something that doesn't get talked about enough in Pocket when it comes to variants this game has is that a game having more coin flips means that all of its individual coin flips matter less. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're flipping a bunch of coins over the course of the game, the impact of any individual coin tends to be a little bit lower on average. It dilutes it. And to like give an example of two other games that often have coin flips, but they have less of them, so they matter more. To give 2 pointed examples, Magic the Gathering is a game where you very regularly are flipping a coin in the early game or late game as to whether or not you draw the correct resource or non-resource card to get to continue playing the game. In the late game in Magic, it's about 50-50, do you draw a land or a spell? And in the early game, it's about 50-50, do you hit that land to play your third land on curve? And Marvel Snap has a very, very similar experience with their tech cards and simultaneous turns of play in the late game. Quite frequently, you will have a tech card 50-50 in Marvel Snap where you play your tech card and where they deploy their big thing is a coin flip. And if you win the flip, you win the game. And if you lose the flip, you lose the game. Right, they've tapped my Snorlax, which means we can Lima him out. They've undone my Greninjas. I think I'm Limaing out the Snorlax and attacking with the Kangaskhan. Second Froakie is great. It makes Rare Candy an incredible draw. I think I'm going to go ahead and put an energy on the Snorlax, so that way if I top deck Barry, I can go ahead and get his attack in next turn. I'm going to keep putting pressure on this big Tina that they're charged up to attack with, because ideally I want to take that off the board ASAP. There's a limit to how many coin flips, though. If a game is all coin flips, then you reduce your input variances you as a player adding to a loop. Sure, but no games are 100% coin flips, including Pocket. And what you're presenting there is what we refer to as a slippery slope fallacy, where you are technically correct, but also what you're putting forward to is absurd and nonsensical because it's a slippery slope. Nobody's making games or talking about games that are all coin flips. I can do 80, and then they take 20 for 100 total. I think I just try and bank on drawing Barry here. 1 in 5 to do that. I feel like I've wished I had Cape in this deck a few times. If this Rocky helmet had been a Cape, we'd be in a better spot here, yeah. And I think we're cooked now that it's not. Grolnin, thank you for the over 3.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Can we slot this out? I don't think so. So I get to hit this for 20, and then they Chaos Impact me plus Darkrai Chip Shot, and they take 40. I get to clear them with the Greninja next turn, but I don't have a way to deal with the Darkrai after the fact, yeah? I could draw another copy of Snorlax and maybe stall it out. It's possible. because they're not gonna kill this turn. So if I top deck Snorlax in our next couple of draws, we might have a shot, but we are also just dead to a Cyrus at any point. And I am not playing Cyrus of my own to be able to pull the other Tina up. Wait, does this get me across the finish line? This technically beats no healing from them, right? And they didn't have healing last turn. If they don't have Cyrus and they don't have healing, we can get there. So this clears this. And then if they can't get their last point with this, the Rocky Helmet puts this to 100, and I do exactly 100 with Water Shurikens. So we are dead to Cyrus, and we are dead to Sabrina. But they've already used 2 potions, and they've used the Sabrina as well. There are only 3 cards left in their deck, though, and usually these decks have 1 Cyrus and 1 Sabrina. Really close game, considering it took us a second, huh? That's one of those. There's always just like a constant flow of what's your record with the deck, whenever you're playing anything new on stream. And I think games like this are a good example of like, well, the record doesn't tell the whole story, right? Like this game goes as a loss in the loss column, but I actually think my takeaway from experiencing that game as a player is that game was really close and interesting. And if the variance breaks slightly differently, I have my Greninja sooner, I have my Berry sooner, they don't have their Cyrus. Like, there's one of a very small handful of things in that game that get me to a different outcome there, potentially.